start with the deep standing postures first. Try to open the hips up a little bit and get into that outer hip. Alright, then bring your hands to your blocks. Feet back under the hips, about hip width apart. Drop your chest down into your shoulder girdle. Keep all 3 thumb knuckles on your block. So make sure thumbs are on the block, thumbs on the inside of the block, hand out to the side. There you go. Okay, come forward over the arms. Inner spiral your arms. Try to feel your chest. Slide your shoulders forward toward the ears. And then slide them back. Try to feel the serratus, the other muscles underneath the shoulder. Slide them forward. Drop your head. And then slide them back. Good. One more time. Slide forward. Keep them up there. Suck the ribs up into the back of the body. Pushing through the thumb side of the hand. Shift your weight forward. And then drop the chest all the way down. Shoulder blades come back together. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Getting a little mobility through the rib cage and shoulder girdle. One more time, bring it up. Keeping it up, outer spiral arms. Drop the chest back down. Good. Shift your hips back. Come forward. Inner spiral your arms first. Pick your ribs up. Drop your head down. Then start shifting hips back. Your ribs should start pulling back out of the shoulder girdle. There you go. Good. Feel the shoulder blades spread around the sides of the ribs. Keep your head dropping through your arms. Inhale. Exhale, bend knees. Keep that shoulder blade spreading, feeling, drop your hips. Let your ribs rest on the thighs. Go ahead and start dropping right hip back, straighten the right leg more. Try to hug your right hip back and heel in, toes out, like you're going to outer spiral right leg. You should feel a lot of length through that right side, all the way to the hip. Bring it back, ribs on the thighs. Start straightening left leg, dropping left hip all the way back. Drop the right armpit down a little, look under your left armpit just a little bit. Good, feel that in the hip. Bring it back to the middle. Right hip dropping back, twist to the right a little bit. Drop the left shoulder down. Good. And bring it back to the middle. One more each side, just getting a little bit of room in the hips. Drop the right shoulder down, right armpit down. Good, lift your lower belly more. And bring it back to the middle. Bring your body forward over the hands. Let's step the right foot forward outside your block, left foot way back behind you. Stay strong in the left foot, really push the mat away, and drop the heel back. Do it again, push the mat away, drop the heel back. One more, push the mat away. Pick your ribs up in the shoulder girdle, turn the right toes out. Bend the knees, start dropping the ribs down, bend your elbows straight back, and stay one straight line from the foot to the head. And bring it all the way back up. Push through the foot, push through the arms at the same time. Do it again. Bend the right knee, keep your left hip strong, left leg long, bend the elbows back, push your right foot, bring it all the way up. Good. Last one, shoulders back, ribs come forward, bend the right knee, come on down, and then bring it all the way back up. Good. Roll your left hip open. Good. When you roll the hip open, spread the shoulder blades a little bit, make a lot of space in the left side. Good. Then drop your left hip forward, let your ribs drop down into the shoulder girdle. Good. Feel that in the outer hip? Good. Same spot you were looking for.
But I had my knee too bent.
Okay. Bring it back. Try to keep the leg a little straight. Lift the ribs back as you roll your left hip back. That's it. Good. Now roll the left hip forward, right hip back. Really keep that hip back. Then drop the ribs forward and down. Foot has a lot of weight keeping hip back. Do it again. Roll your left hip back. Take your ribs up in the shoulder girdle. Suck the belly up. Good. Now staying back there with left hip, drop the ribs down. Bring it back up again. Good. Roll your left hip forward. Keep the right leg pretty straight. Drop ribs forward and down. Good. Bend the right knee, elbows hug in. Come down as low as you can in your stretch. Good. Now keep the hips down. Bring the body up. Should deepen the hip stretch. Good. Move the back knee down. Move your blocks forward. See if you can bring elbows to the mat. If your elbows can't touch, put blocks down. Bring elbows to your blocks. Okay, elbows touching with a little bit of authority, so you've got some room to move. Push down through your elbows to bring your ribs up. Then pull back with elbows, bring your ribs forward and down. Do it again. Push down through elbows, ribs come up. Pulling back on elbows, bring ribs forward and down. One more, push down through elbows, bring ribs up. Pull back, bring your ribs forward and down. Good. Bring your left elbow over to the right. Bring your right elbow in front of your own shin, like you're going to elbow the shin back, hand comes to the mat. Left hand just as wide. And then you can tuck the back toes, hopefully, and push through that foot to add weight to the stretch. Or you can keep the knee down. But the shoulder and elbow are pinning the knee and hip back, your right hip, and left hip dropping forward, sternum coming toward the right foot. Breathe. This should be getting into the hip, front, back, outside. Okay, the right foot pushes into the mat, so lift right hip back a little bit, and then drop that down. Okay, bring your left knee to the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Inner or outer spiral arms, so your thumbs make parallel lines, like this. Fingers turned out. Good, so it's a bigger outer spiral in the arms than we usually do. Keeping the hands turned out, inner spiral your arms. So biceps roll and face in, triceps face out. This. You already had it. Go back. Yes, that's inner spiral. I have the elbow facing.
Oh, I was doing it backwards.
Yep. Okay, push down through the thumb side of the hand, pick your ribs up. And then try to bring the ribs and hips back. Let the toes come back off the mat, drop your head down between the arms, let your left hip drop back. Inhale. Exhale, long and even sock the low belly back. Start coming back forward, keep ribs high in shoulder girdle, pressure in the hands. Right foot comes to the mat. Start dropping hips forward, then drop your ribs down a little deeper into the stretch. Good, should let you get a little bit deeper in there. One more time, inner spiral arms, and bend your elbows out to the sides. If you keep your weight leaning forward past the thumb side of the hand, you get a little stretch in the thumb side of your hand. Then re-straighten the arms, pick your ribs up, suck the belly back, take it all the way back, doming the back. Low belly and ribs all pulling back, drop your head through the arms. Good, and then let your hips drop back too. Okay, coming back forward, ribs stay high. Keep pressing through thumb side of the hand, let your hips drop though, and then drop the chest down. You should get a little deeper into the stretch. Bring your right elbow inside the right arch of your foot if you can put elbows down, and left elbow back to the mat. Bring your left knee over to the right a little bit, roll over your toes. Good, keep the foot into the elbow, elbow pulling into the foot, and then try to tip your right hip a little further to the right. At the same time, foot pushing into the elbow, right shoulder comes forward, trying to open the ribs on that right side. Really let the hip drop toward the mat. Should be a pretty big stretch in the outer hip. Breathe. And bring it back up. Hands come to the mat. Come onto the front heel. Slide it forward, and you can slide it as far to the right as you need to, or you can walk your hands to the left corner of the mat, putting the left frontal hip down. So you're in a split. This leg can be as far back as it needs to be. Keep coming forward and left. The higher this leg is, the deeper the stretch. Good. You got the front of the left hip down? You're there. You don't need the right hip down. All right. Push through your elbows to bring the ribs up. Then pull back with your elbows to drag ribs forward. The front of the left hip stays stuck to the mat. You should feel a little pull in the front of that hip. Good. Do it again. Push through elbows to bring the ribs up. Pull back with elbows, dragging forward. Ribs coming forward out of that hip. Inner spiral the right leg a little bit. Do it again. Push down through elbows to pick your ribs up. Shoulders lean forward, maybe even past elbows a little bit. Don't care if shoulders come forward like this. That's going to make some space in the back because the lat attaches from here up into the arm. So if you're really round and hollow forward, it's going to pull out of your back more. Feel that stretch between rib cage and hip? Good. Inhale. Exhale, staying forward. Okay, bring your left elbow just forward enough so that it'll support you. Then you're going to bend the left leg up without letting your hip pop up off the mat. And reach back with your right hand. Perfect. Try to come over the top of the toe and just pull the foot down toward the buttocks. Good. It's a pretty big stretch for most people. Then you're going to try to roll the right shoulder back down and then try to open your elbow out to the side and put the forehead on the back of the hand. If your left elbow gets to go wide, it starts helping open your left ribs more, which helps you release the front of the left hip more. Breathe. Feel that space in your left side? Oh gosh. It's a big stretch. Find your breath. Okay, let go of the foot. Bring your elbows back to the mat. Done with that one. Hands come back to the mat. Okay, and we're going to try to tuck the back toes and see if you can go straight back to down dog. You can just stay on the knee and pull back. I want you to try to keep the back leg in the air, come up into a plank, pull all the way back. Good, and step your foot right next to the other one on your mat. Hands flat. Hands are a little bit turned out, not as much as we were. Think of the index knuckle or index fingers being parallel lines and parallel to the side of the mat. Lift your ribs up out of the shoulder girdle, then take hips back and up. Bend your knees a little bit more. Yep. Good. Straighten only the right leg. Let your left knee come forward toward your ribs. Hug your right hip back. Look under the right elbow a little bit. Under the right armpit.
Right.
Yep, there you go.
Let's take these off.
Switch. Left leg comes straight. Drop the right armpit a little bit. Open the left side of the body. Switch. Right heel coming down. Even if you can't get both heels down, if you do one at a time, you can often get one. You got to keep the pressure in the hands. Shoulder blades off the back. Keep dropping the hip back, opening the ribs. There you go. Switch. Drop your left hip back. The right hip just hangs forward. Switch. Drop the right hip back. Left hip hanging forward. Switch. Push into your right hand when you drop the left hip back. Switch. Push into the left hand. You get more length out of left shoulder blade. And come to the middle. Good. Inner feet touch. Push into your toes. Sitting bones up and back. And then come forward. Shoulders over your hands. Then you're going to trade hips with ribs as the highest point. Shoulder blades spread. Hips come down. Low belly in. Good. Inner spiral arms. Drop the chest into the shoulder girdle. Kick it back up. And then outer spiral. Good. Keep the ribs this high. Suck the low belly in. Hips are released. Step your left foot outside your left hip. Good. Dropping the right hip down into the stretch a little bit. Inner spiral arms. Good. Let your hips shift right a little. Let that right side open more. And then shift left. One more time. Just open up that hip a little more since that's the tighter side, right?
This one.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Shift your hips to the right. Let the right side hang out of the right arm, straight arm. And then shift left. Let shoulder come forward a little. And come back to the middle. Set the knee down. Grab your blocks back. Hands on your blocks on third level. Push into the back leg to come up. Good, bring your hips back. So your front foot is still turned out 45 degrees. Little outer spiral on the leg, make space in the front of the hip there. Okay. And then we're going to come forward with your right hip. Drop the chest into the shoulder girdle. Bend your elbows straight back. Try to keep your chest kind of behind the blocks as you come down into that stretch. Push into the hands, push into the leg, bring it back up. Yeah, feel the stretch in the hip. Do it again. Elbows hug in. Slide your shoulders a little forward, opening up the side. Just a little bit here. Elbows hugging and puts you in the chest. And then drop your head to release your neck. And come down like that. Let your hip drop. When you're all the way down, then roll shoulders back, open chest. See if that doesn't deepen the stretch for you. Push into the hands, bring it back up. Good, let's stay up here. Shoulders are right over blocks. Drop the back heel down, work that foot. And then push into the toes to bring it up. Drop it down. Push into the toes to bring it up. Drop it down. Notice if your upper body stays locked and you're pushing the hip pops up. Don't let that happen. Let your upper body shift forward and stay soft. And then drop it down. Last one, push into the toes. Now right hip drops forward, left hip pulls back. Think of outer spiraling left leg and inner spiraling right leg, right hip. And then drop your ribs into shoulder girdle. Okay, take the ribs back up, push into your hands. Roll the hip open. Good, then drop the ribs back down. Good, do it again, take the ribs up. Suck your low belly up on this side. Yep, roll the right hip forward. This side getting out of the way, pulling back. And then drop ribs down. Feel that in the hip here? Good. Take your ribs up. Roll it open. Then try to drop the ribs back down. As your ribs drop, the pelvic bowl should come too, deepening the stretch. Okay, pick your ribs up. That's actually taking you out of the stretch a little bit, engaging some of these muscles. Pull the left side back as the right hip drops forward. Then ribs come forward and down. One more. Pick your ribs up, suck the belly up. Open up the hip. Drop the ribs back down. Last one, pick the ribs up. Roll the hip forward. Back leg is strong. Bend the front knee. Then the elbows come down deep into that stretch. Good. Put the back knee on the floor. And you can move your blocks. You can roll over the back toes or keep them tucked. Either way, whatever feels easier for you. Okay. See if you can come down to elbows here. Try to keep your chest back. So if you're really tight in the hip, the tendency is going to want you to climb the elbows way in front of you. Try to keep your elbows right in line with the heel about. Okay? Good. And then tip it over into the left hip a little bit. Try to open that up. Good. And come back to the right. That's your right hip hang. So if elbows don't touch with a lot of authority, a lot of firmness, use your blocks. It will actually let your hip open more to be higher. Good.
That's better.
Yeah. Okay, push down through your elbows, pick your ribs up. Then think of pulling back with the serratus, the intercostals, the muscles attached to the ribs here. Pull back to bring ribs forward and down. Go ahead, pull you out of that hip more. Push down through elbows to bring the ribs up. Pull back to bring the ribs forward and down. So if you're already at your deepest stretch and you have no movement, you won't feel what this movement's helping you with. Push down through elbows to bring ribs up. Pull back, bring ribs forward and down. That's starting to pull you out of the hip, and the foot, nailing the hip back because of the weight, is keeping hip back while we pull ribs forward. At least that's the idea. One more, pick the ribs up, bring it forward and down. Good. Let's move the blocks. If you can, try to bring the elbow inside the foot. So your arch is connected with your elbow. You're pulling back on the elbow a little bit into the foot. Your foot turns up, so the side of the foot faces the ceiling a little bit. And then you don't even care if his right hand is up. Tip over toward that left hip, bring your left shoulder forward. So you're opening the ribs on that left side. Good. Feel that hip stretch on the left? Great. Shoulders can slide up the ribs. It opens up the back knee. And bring it back up. Good. Bring your hands in that. Good. Go ahead and bring the hips back. Let the toes come off the ground. Suck your low belly back. Drop your head through your arms. And then as you come forward, keep ribs lifted. Bend the knee, drop back into the stretch. Okay, let's turn the hands out like we did before so that your outer spiraled in hand, or turned out in hands, thumbs making parallel lines. Then inner spiral arms. So eye of the elbow faces in, bicep faces in. We rarely do that, but it should help you come into your chest a little bit. Purposely bringing the shoulder blades around ribs and using chest to help you stay lifted there. Okay, keep that lift, tucking your hips back, and then take the hips back, ribs back, spreading shoulder blades as you drop back, drop your head, through the arms. Breathe. Drop the right hip further back a little bit and pull back even longer. Good. And then as you come forward, lift the ribs up out of the shoulder girdle, let your hips drop first. Then drop ribs deeper into shoulder girdle. Shoulder blades slide together on the back. Okay, do it again. Slide shoulder blades apart, keep arms inner spiral. Suck the low belly up, pick your hips up and back, lifting. Pulling all the way back. Drop the right hip back. If your toes are rolled over, your heel goes in. If it's tucked, your heel also just goes in. Breathe. Come back forward, ribs stay up in the shoulder girdle. Hips drop down first, then ribs drop down. So if you come forward already dropped here, sometimes your hips don't fit if you're real tight. Keep the ribs up, drop your hips down, and then drop the ribs down. Hold shoulders back. Good. How we doing? Bring right elbow to the mat. Bring your left, or actually don't have to bring the elbow down. You can just bring the left arm outside the shin, like you're going to elbow the shin back. Right hand wide too. Push through the back leg to bring the back leg off the ground if you want to add weight to the stretch, or you can keep the knee down. Your sternum comes toward the left heel. Left foot is active, pushing into the mat. Left elbow pins that hip back. Left foot helps lift the hip back. Ribs go forward. Find your breath. Yep, so elbow pinning the hip back, pinning that knee back as ribs come forward. And then pushing your hands to bring it up. Bring your hands under the shoulder. Flex the front foot. Slide the heel forward and as far left as you need to. The further left it goes, the easier. The more forward it is, the closer you are to a true split. Drop the front of the right hip to the mat. You can take your elbows off to the right if you need to. You're going to come down to elbows. The front of your right hip has to touch down to the mat. You good? Okay. Push down through your elbows, lifting the ribs up into the shoulder girdle. Then think of pulling back, dragging ribs forward out of the front of that right hip. And the right hip is stuck to the mat, so you get some length. Now you actually feel it. It feels like you pull your ribs out of your hip if you haven't before. Do it again. Pick the ribs up, pushing through the elbows. Pull back with your serratus, your intercostals, bringing ribs forward out of the front of that right hip. Feel a little pull there. Do it again. Push down through elbows. Let's add breath. Inhale. Exhale, lift your low belly a little. Think of inner spiral in both legs. Then pull back. Let your ribs release forward and down. And inhale, bring it up. Let your head drop. Let all the weight be in the elbows. Exhale, lifting low belly a little. Bring forward by pulling back with elbows. You can even bring shoulders past elbows. You'll feel more space in your low back if your shoulders shift past your elbows. Again, that lat being attached to the back of the arm as it comes forward. Attached to the low back, you're opening this. Feel that? Good.
Okay, bring your elbow under you so it'll support you. While your frontal right hip is totally flat on the mat, bend the back leg. So let it come in. If your front hip pulls up off the mat when you do that, you're holding the front of the hip and you're not going to get the foot up very easily and you're going to kill that spot you're trying to stretch. Come over the foot, pull it in.
See if you can bring your right elbow wide and bring your forehead to your hand. The wider and more forward this elbow reaches, the more you spread out your right ribs,
The easier it should be to start opening up the hip.
breathe. If you feel too much stretch, you can bring the elbow back a little. Push forward on your mat with your elbow to bring you back and shorten so maybe your hip will release better. You can play with pulling back on the mat or pushing forward on the mat, depending on what you need in this stretch.
If you feel absolutely nothing, you can come up to your left elbow and start pulling your right foot all the way down towards that. Okay. All right, wherever you're at, let it go. Good, bring your elbows under you. Hands come back.
Tuck the back toes. Push into your hands to pick it up like you're coming into plank. So right away, it's shoulder blades spread, and then slide it back with pulling back with low belly. Feet flat on the mat.
Good. Keep your fingers spreading. Hands are a little bit turned out, not all the way to parallel thumbs, but maybe parallel index fingers possibly. And then inner spiral your arms first. Feels like you're a little bulldog with your shoulders come up to your ears. Slide the shoulder blades apart, ribs back. Then outer spiral arms, shoulders pull back. Drop your head down, but keep ribs kind of lifted up on the shoulder girdle. Now hips reach up and back, bend your knees a little bit. Getting long in your core. And then see if you can drop ribs back. So going into an upper back bend, releasing your core. So you are kind of sitting in the joint, but it will stretch shoulders and upper back. Okay, drop right heel into the mat, bend the left knee, think of your left ribs coming toward that left thigh. Right hip hugging back. Switch. Then the right knee, left hip hugging back. Slide your shoulder blades apart if you can bring ribs back further. Switch. Get that right heel into the mat by pushing with hands. Switch. Good. And come back to both heels down. Pick your ribs up a little bit. Slide shoulder blades back. Down the rib cage. Straight arms. Chin in. Okay. Now you're going to start bringing your hips forward. Push into the toes to come higher. Then lift ribs up, doming upper back. Then drop the hips forward, get long in your core, but keep ribs high in the shoulder girdle. Going toward a plank. Inhale. Exhale, slowly flex the feet, bring heels back. Then suck your low belly back, bring hips back. Heels drop down to the mat as ribs shift further back. Good. Do it again. Tailbone under, low belly sucks up, try to keep heels down, ribs drop in, head in. Lift your ribs up in the shoulder girdle, push into the toes to come forward. So your head is in, you really don't. Okay? Then drop hips, open shoulders a little bit. Good, then heels reach back. Sitting on, start pulling back, low belly, inner spiral legs. Low belly pulls hips back here. And heels to the mat. Dropping the head, breathe. Lift your right leg straight up and back. Keep your ribs back out of the shoulder blades a little bit. Open up the hips to face right. You got it. And then drop the hip back down. Bring the knee in, keep your sitting bones back and apart. Open the shoulders. Do it again, reach the leg down. Open up the hip, roll it up. Roll into that inner left foot to help you open. Push into your left hand to stay lifted out of left shoulder girdle. Drop your ribs back a little deeper. Bend the supporting leg, the left leg. Spread your right toes. Re-straighten left leg, drop your right hip down. Bring the knee in, but keep your sitting bones reaching back. Good, and last one, lengthen it back. Open up the hip. You got it. Good, and then roll the hip back down. This time drop your hip below the other hip. Yeah, so inner spiral like you're going to face me. Good, you should feel a little stretch in the outer left hip. Good, bring the hips back to square. Bring your knee in. Push into the left toes, ribs come up high in the shoulder girdle as you come forward. Bring your foot outside the hands. Place it on the mat, foot is turned out. Drop your hips down into that stretch, roll the shoulders back. Spread the right toes. Push into the right foot, bring your hips back, suck the ribs up, push into your hands. And then start bending the knee. Pull back the shoulders, drop the hips down, opening the chest. Good. One more time, push back with hands, pick the ribs up, spread the shoulder blades off the back, and let that go. Let your ribs open, drop your chest down, then bend the knee, come neutral, step it back to plank. Heels reach back, hips start pulling back, and you're gonna spread shoulder blades off the back as your hips reach back. Drop your head through your arms. Good. Pick the ribs up, low belly draws tailbone under, push through your toes, and then lengthen your core. Okay, drop the chest down in the shoulder girdle, then pick it up. One more, drop it down, and then pick it up. Keeping it high, step your left foot forward outside the left hand. Good. Drop your hips all the way down, open up the chest more. How are we doing? Feel the hips?
Killing my wrists.
Okay, right hips up and back, we'll come off the hands in a minute. Roll the right hip open. Roll it back forward again and come all the way down. Drop the hip. Good. And bring it up. Spread your shoulder blades. Ribs come forward and down. Drop into it. Good. Last one, pick it up. Step it down. Good. Come down, rolling over the toes, come onto the knees. Good. Go ahead and sit back, we'll stretch the hands. Keep your toes tucked. Walk one knee back at a time to deepen the angle and the degree of tucking the toes. So keep the foot there as you walk the knee back and sit back on your heels. Still stretching the feet. Okay. Let's flip the hands backwards to start. So your fingers are facing back towards your knees. The base of the hand, the wrist is turned out if possible. It's less stretch if it's turned in. It's more stretch if it's turned out. Okay. Stay here. See if you can put a little baby bend in your elbows. That will deepen the stretch because it deepens the angle in the wrist. So let's stretch in the hands. Okay. Keeping a little bend there without lifting the base of the hand. Try to spread your fingers out more, spreading the metacarpals. Okay, keep weight in the knuckles. Drop your head, let your shoulders slide together on the back. Okay, then low belly draws, feet hug into each other, big toes especially, push into the mat a little. Low belly draws, pelvic roll back. Then push into your hands to bring ribs back into the shoulder girdle, rounding. Good. Then first thing you're going to release is the pressure in the hand. Dropping chest forward, let your shoulders slide together on the back. Ribs get long and open, core gets long, pubic bone ends up being back. Do it again, starting from low body. Feet hugging into each other, toes push into the mat. Lift your low belly to suck, pelvic roll back. Then ribs come back, push your hands to spread shoulder blades, drop your head. Lift your low belly, middle abs. Don't close ribs as much. Drop chest forward a little, then lift middle abs, low belly more. Okay, to come forward, release the core a little bit. Ribs get longer, and belly releases and shoulder blades slide together. Okay, we're gonna move the opposite way. Push into the hands, spread the shoulder blades first. Low belly in. Okay, roll back through your right hand and back with the fingers. You done? Hands are over.
Hands are done.
We're gonna roll back through the left to even it up. Alright, gotta do a counter stretch in the hands. So let's come to knuckles. Okay, we'll do feet for a second first. Pushing into the knuckles, keep them pretty much on a line right in front of the knees. Lift the knees up and back. Good, put your feet. Inner feet touch. Let's tent fingers. Knees are open to about your shoulder width and drop your head through your knees. Breathe. Okay. Keep letting hips release like you're really sitting on your feet. Don't lift up away from the feet. Then push into the toes to lift heels. Again, keep hips sitting. Don't lift up. Yes, good. And then drop it back down. Feet good. Bring it back up. Stay sitting on the heels. So you're literally sitting down as close to your heels as you can. Even if there's space there, you're not lifting is the point. Then drop the heels back. Try to drop chest forward onto the knees. Head releasing. Do it again. As the hips come forward, and push heels forward, knees up, and then drop it down. Okay. Last one, come all the way up. Open the feet just a little bit apart so that your feet have to work independently. You can keep them together if you're doing this. That'll also open sitting bones if your sitting bones are touching heels. Then hug knees back in, suck the low belly back. See if you can lift up to 1 or 2 fingers on each hand. Keep your weight forward, sucking the low belly back. Maybe you can find your balance in your turn. Breathe. Bring the hands back down. Drop your heels back. Open the knees wide. Are feet done or are you still good? You're okay. You're getting there. You're already told it's done.
Didn't take much.
Why not be able to walk out now? Hands out in front, but not so far that you're leaning forward. It's just a counterbalance. Hands go forward so that you can drop hips and heels back. Your heels do not have to touch down, but the idea is can you let one side drape forward, the other side drape back. Let your back release.
Breathe. Keep the feet active, all the toes trying to stay on the ground. And then come back forward. Bring your knees together and come all the way forward. Tuck your toes the other way and just sit back into that counter stretch for a second. Good. Alright. Come back to hand to knee. Alright, let's go ahead and stretch the hands the other way. Come to the back of the hand. Thumb to pinky spreading wide. Good. We'll do the same hand you're doing. Your left hand. Okay, your right hand is going to just stay right under the shoulder, maybe even a little toward the middle to take as much weight as you need to in that right hand. Your left elbow, let's start with it bent. You're going to hug it back toward your body in to the midline. And then shoulder rolling back. Try to outer spiral the arm as you straighten. Pretty good. It's a big stretch, right? Okay, then start bending the elbow back. Let the hand come up. Keep thumb and pinky wide as you roll back. And then roll back forward again. So let the base of the wrist come off the mat. There you go. And then come back forward again. Yeah, feel that stretch in the forearm? One more time. And then come back forward. Good. And then flip it all the way over. Other hand. Spread from thumb to pinky. It's less of a stretch if you do it out to the side, by the way. Okay? And then elbow hugs back. Shoulder lifts back. Roll through the wrist so eye of elbow faces forward. And then bend your elbow back. You're going to calculate how much weight you're going to put into this. And then roll forward. Stretching the forearm. Good. Roll back. Keep elbow low to the mat to deepen the stretch. Good. Keep thumb and pinky wide. Roll forward. Good. And come out of the hand. Flatten it out. Good. Alright. Come down to elbows now. No more hands. Okay. Bring your knees as wide as your mat. Toes toward each other. Then we're going to sit back toward the hips. Actually, before you do that, lift your ribs up out of the shoulder girdle. You should have tight shoulders. And keeping the ribs up high, lift middle abs, low belly up. Then start sitting back, pulling the core, letting shoulder blades slide off the back. And then let your hips go. Sit back as far as you can. Sides really long. Breathe. Let your forehead down. One more breath here. To come forward, pull back on the mat with your elbows, shoulders pulling back away from ears, and drag forward, keeping ribs deep in the shoulder girdle. Okay. Once you're at the front of the mat, slide your shoulders forward, up the sides of the ribs, and then down. Okay. Shoulder blades slide up the sides of the ribs, and then back down. Feel the serratus intercostals when you come down. One more. Slide forward, hold. Push your elbows, pick your ribs up, pick low belly and middle abs up higher. Good. Now low belly draws pubic bone forward, head through the arms. Shift weight into the arms. Drop pubic bone back. Drop the chest back, down again. Do that one more time. Shoulders slide a little forward, and push through elbows to pick ribs up. Suck middle abs up, dropping tail and pubic bone under. Drop the head through the arms, shift your weight forward. Keeping body forward, ribs forward, drop hips back. They need to go apart. Pubic bone back, then drop the chest down. Good. Stay low like that as you sit back. Open your feet a little bit. See if you can sit all the way back into a really wide leg here. How far back you can sit. If you need to sit on a block, you can. Once you get back there, feel like your elbows are pushing the mat forward to help spread shoulder blades and suck ribs further back, hips further back. So bring hands back a little, elbows push forward, ribs suck back. And then release that. Good. Okay, pull back on the mat with your elbows. So you can take those calves wider than your mat. Weights in your arms, slide the knees out. It's easy on the wood, it's easy on the pads. Good. Feel that stretch in the hips. Now turn the feet out so legs, lower legs are parallel lines to the sides of the mat. Okay, walk your elbows forward a little more. Pretty far out in front of you. Good. Okay, you're trying to stay behind the elbows when you're in the stretch so that your low back, or your belly's releasing, low back's releasing, you're just hanging into the stretch. Elbows in front of shoulders. Then we're going to come forward. Then hips drop a little. Slide the shoulders further forward. You're literally sliding shoulder blades up the back. Then push your elbows to lift ribs, but keep hips released. This is a tough position for most people out of upper body. Okay, then suck low belly in, keep it going forward. Sit back an inch or two. Now you feel right here through the hips. Roll pubic bone back, belly back to the mat, ribs dropping down. Maybe your ribs and belly can come closer to the mat. Good. Feel how you're standing behind elbows.
Right.
Okay. You good in elbows?
Yeah.
Knees? Yeah. Okay. Shift forward. Now actually slide shoulders further forward. That makes for the upper back to expand, makes room. Lift your ribs up, pushing through elbows. Drop your hips down. That's it, come forward more. Not with elbows. Leave your elbows still. Bring your body forward. Yeah, shoulders past elbows. There, you're gonna suck your ribs up. Better. Now let your hips drop. Good. Okay, low belly draws, the pubic going forward. Sit back just an inch or two. And then pubic going back, belly drops, ribs drop down deeper each time into your stretch. Nice. Just do one more kind of circular motion. Come forward. Shoulders come extra forward. Ribs come up, but hips stay dropped. Then low belly draws forward. Sit back behind elbows. And pubic going back, belly drops, ribs drop deeper into your front. Nice. Good. Bring your feet in a little. Walk your elbows back. Try to keep your feet and knees as wide as you can, but still be able to sit back. So super wide, almost like you're trying to do the 180-degree poses. But if you can't reach the mat, you gotta sit on the block on something that your sitting bones can connect with pretty firmly. Too much stretch? Too much stretch?
Too much.
Two. There you go.
Sorry.
That's fine. All right, staying there. Let's actually bring hands forward. Use your purple block for your hands like us. Over here. Do 2 more blocks.
Am I too high?
We'll see.
Okay, that's
Just
okay.
feel-
I'll try with
You
it.
want to feel something. You need 2 core blocks if you're sitting on a core block. So if you elevate the ground under your hips, you're going to elevate the ground under your hands.
Okay.
Okay. 2 core blocks like this in front of you. Alright. Hands on your blocks. I want your sitting bones apart. You manually open those little bones at the base of the buttocks that you're sitting on. Hands forward. Not so far forward that you're in your deepest stretch, but someplace where you can push ribs back and forth so you have room to move. Turn your hands out so your thumbs make parallel lines. Spread your fingers. Inner spiral arms, just like we did before, but now let's weight in your hands, right? And then shoulders slide up a little. Push through chest to bring your ribs back. Drop your head in, suck your low belly back. Don't close ribs super hard, lift low belly more. Until your pelvic bowl comes back. Okay, to come forward, get longer in your core. So low belly lifts and lengthens, ribs get to open a little, drop your chest into shoulder girdle. Feel how pelvic bowl drops forward. Perfect, yeah, so that stretch deepen. Keep arms inner spiral, slide shoulders up a little to make space in your sides. I realize that this engages serratus. Bring the ribs back. Drop your head, now suck low belly back to bring pelvic bowl further back. Good, keep the head dropping in. Inhale. Lift your low belly, let your ribs open as you come forward. Lengthen core, drop chest back into shoulder girdle. Pelvic bowl should be able to drop a little deeper each time. Let's do that again. Inner spiral, arms, shoulders slide up. Push through the chest, use your chest to pull. Chest kind of closed, collarbone closed, but you're opening upper back. Drop head, suck low belly back to bring pelvic bowl back. Don't pull ribs back real hard. Just use pressure in hands for that part. Okay, to come forward, lift low belly a little, let your ribs open, and then start sliding shoulder blades together as you roll further forward in pelvic bowl. Nice, getting deeper there.
Am I?
Yeah. Good, bring your hands back, and bring it back up. Good. Now you're going to adjust how your sitting bones are. Bring them under you. Yeah. Take your 2 blocks, since you're sitting on a block, bring them behind you, 1 for each hand. I'm not sitting on a block, so I'm not going to use both. Okay, so hands on your blocks, fingers facing forward. Good, you should feel your hips. Now, you don't want your back arched. You want it to drop back. So you really get sitting bones under, and hands should be higher, higher, higher until your back is round. Okay, good. You feel good? You don't feel like any crunch in your low back. Shoulders roll forward, chin in. Low belly sucks in. And then you're going to keep your ribs back this far, roll shoulders back. So there's no up and down to this, it's just back. Feel your core open a little bit. Low belly gets longer, then roll shoulders back forward, chin in. Do it again, roll shoulders back. Hands should feel like they're almost pushing the mat forward to help you lengthen. Feel that length in the front of the hips? Then roll the shoulders forward. Do it again, roll shoulders back, low belly pulls back. You're still trying to pull out of your hips, and then roll shoulders forward. Good. Now just the right shoulder drops back. Left shoulder goes forward. Ribs go a little to the right, like you're twisting. Yeah, feel that right hip? Good, bring it down. Left shoulder rolls back, right shoulder rolls forward. Push into the right hand, take ribs a little left. Bring it back. On the right side, right shoulder rolls back, left shoulder rolls forward. Get long on the right side, push in the left hand. Bring it back. Left shoulder rolls back, right shoulder rolls forward, push in the right hand. Reach the right knee further away, the hip may lift a little. Come back, roll right shoulder back, left shoulder forward, ribs roll right, left knee reaching forward, and then bring it back. Both shoulders forward, push into the hands,
shin in, shoulders forward, and then come all the way back. Good, bring your right arm across your body, let it just drape there. Bring your weight into your left hand. Keep your left ribs open though, don't let your hip hold, let that go. Trust the hand, put all your weight back there. And you're gonna roll that shoulder head back. I want you to really feel the shoulder blade wrapping and rolling around the ribs. Keep the top of the head forward and then suck your middle abs back, right elbow open too. Spreading lats, pull middle abs. Curl toes up if it helps you feel your low belly. And roll the shoulder back forward, release your back foot. Okay, roll the shoulder blade back, top of the head forward, and then suck the middle abs back. Good, roll the shoulder head forward. One more time, roll it back, top of the head forward, and roll the shoulder head forward. Bring your right hand back again. So they're even. Okay. Roll the right shoulder head back, left shoulder head forward, and then bring your left arm across. Put all your weight into the right hand. Okay, start out by rolling shoulder head forward, elbow wide, and then don't crunch the right side, let it release into your hand. Real strong hand there. And roll your shoulder back, top of the head forward and down to the mat. Other elbow open, suck the middle abs back with your rounding as you twist, and then roll it back forward. And do it again, roll the shoulder back, get long in the right ribs. Top of the head forward, roll it forward. One more, roll the shoulder back, top of the head forward. Good, and roll it back forward. Left hand comes back, turn your hands around the face backwards. Okay, roll shoulders forward, and the elbows back. Low belly sucking back. Try to lift knees and bring them in a little bit toward each other. Got it. Good, you're trying to suck the low belly back. Now reach your right knee forward, left knee up a little, right hip goes forward, ribs go left. Come back to the middle. Both legs up, low belly sucking, reach the left knee forward, ribs go right. Good, come back to the middle. So I feel how your hips can roll around there. Let your knees come back down, let your belly suck down, shoulders roll back, shin in, and then roll your shoulders forward. Do it again, roll shoulders back, core gets long, and then roll shoulders forward, push into the hands. Good, and come all the way up. How we doing? Good. A lot of strength in your knees for you, that's good. Your knees are really tight. Bring your sitting bones back and apart. Okay, let's take the right foot out of this stretch. You have to lean a little bit left. Good. Don't straighten your leg right away. Okay. Bring your arm inside your leg. Try to bring your body inside that leg. Elbow comes in front of the shin, like you're going to pin it back. Okay? Your left arm, your left hand is going to come to the floor the same way. This foot needs to be pretty far back on the mat because you're going to tip forward into that foot. If you're up on a block, it's easier. Yep, tip forward, good. Once hips are off the ground, push into your right foot, try to lift the hips, and use your right shoulder, your right elbow, roll it back and up to help pin that hip up and back. Good. At the same time, once you pin the hip back, try to bring the ribs forward, opening that right side more. Good, feel that? So roll to inner foot and breathe. If you've got this and you're pretty solid here, you can lift the right foot, kneeling basically on your own arm. It actually makes it easier to open the hips because you can drop ribs a little deeper. Okay? Find your breath. And bring the foot back down. Come all the way back down to the mat. Good. Bring that leg sideways on the mat. If you're sitting on the block, get rid of it. Good. Keep that foot a little bit further forward than normal. And then come forward so I'm facing diagonally off your mat. Bring your right elbow in front of the right knee. Slide your left knee out to the left. So this is like prep for pigeon prep. Elbow in front of knee. Good. Push down through your elbows to pick your ribs up, but then don't close the ribs. Let the core release, and then inhale. As you exhale, just lift your low belly, and then lean across to the left. Your right shoulder is going to go across toward that right foot. Right elbow pins the knee back, pins the hip back. You're trying to move your ribs away from the hip. Feel that in the hip a little bit? Bring it back to the right. Push down through elbows to bring ribs up. But then let the ribs release. Don't suck the ribs up at the same time. Inhale. Let the belly open, let everything open. Then exhale, just lift low belly low. And bring it across to the left. Low belly coming across with ribs. Right shoulder dropping forward a little. Okay, if you don't feel like you need the elbow to pin the knee back anymore, maybe you can reach the right arm across to the left corner of the mat. Get longer on that right side. Good. Now let's stretch out your hip more. Nice. Breathe. So the idea is to slide the shoulder blade off the back, open the ribs out of the hip. Okay, and bring it back. You can lean as far over to the right as you need to. Try to get that left leg worked back behind you. Okay, and then Keep leaning onto the right hip to try to walk this knee back. Good, get this as far back that way as you can. Keep your left foot forward on your mat. You may have to drop it back a little. Then, using elbow, maybe you need a block. If you know you're really tight, you're gonna come up and roll toward the left hip. Yep, and you're gonna support some in and elbows. You'd use two blocks, I just only had one. Okay. You good? Put your other elbow on a block too. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now rolling left hip toward the mat, so you can hop the right knee back a little further. There you go, good. And then every time you have more space, you can slide left hip back. Okay, bring your ribs over to the right a little bit. Right hip comes a little to the mat, but don't sit all the way down. And then push through elbows to bring your ribs up. Let the core release. Inhale. Exhale, just lift low belly. Bring your ribs over to the left. Your low belly drags left as well. Left frontal hip dropping down to the mat. Good. Feel the flow out of that hip. Good. Take it over to the right. Push down through elbows to pick ribs up and then let core release. Inhale. Keep inhaling. As you exhale, just lift low belly. Point the right toes, or point them actually. Bring it across, low belly pulling out of the front of that hip. Then let's go ahead and open the elbows out to the sides. Try to keep yourself a little bit to the left. And bring your forehead to the back of the hands. You can be on your blocks with your hands at this point. Yeah. Breathe. Wherever your elbows touch down or hands touch down, bring them back an inch on your mat. Push the mat forward to bring your ribs further back behind the shin. That should deepen the hip stretch going backwards. Inhale. Exhale, lift your ribs a little bit. Then keeping the hip there, drag ribs forward and down. So now elbows pull back on the mat. Should start deepening the stretch. Try to drop left hip toward the mat. Do that one more time. Push through elbows, lift ribs up. Inhale. Exhale, lifting low belly and open ribs, drag forward and down. Good. Bring it up onto elbows. Bring your right hand right in front of the right knee. Push into the hand to lift your right ribs higher. Left elbow stays down. You want left side lower than right. Yep, good. Got it? Then pick the ribs up by pushing into the hand. Inhale. As you exhale, come forward on the left hip and down. Do it again. Roll to the right hip. Push through the hand. Inhale. Opening ribs up out of the hip. Then exhale, come forward to the left hip, left shoulder a little forward, right shoulder a little back. One more, right shoulder a little up and forward, push into the hand, inhale, and bring it forward and down. If you're pretty easy here, you can reach for the back foot and bring that in. Right hand would reach back. Ooh, you got it. Good, try to bring that hand in. Now roll your shoulder forward, see if you can drop down. Breathe. Groin muscles hug in, low belly lifts, bring ribs forward and down. Let it go. Very nice. Roll on to the right hip, bring that left leg back around. How we doing?
Upset dance.
Yes, it is. It's very deep hip stretching. Bring the soles of the feet together, Konasana. Wait till we get to the second side. That's what you need on that side. That's why we're doing it.
You might not make it.
Well, see what you can do. This is what's going to open that spot. Not getting too much longer. But we did it on your other side first, so you can feel what it's supposed to feel like. And then you can go to the not as happy side. All right, soles of the feet together, heels touch, ball of the foot touching. And then think of your feet as rolling inner feet, arches of the feet in toward each other. So your ankles may even lift. Toes pull apart like you could put a flat 2x4 on the tops of the feet. Hands hold ankles, not toes, because you don't want to hamper that. Bring elbows to your shins or the front of your shins if you can reach there. Think of your feet as pushing the mat forward. Suck your low belly back. Shoulders round forward. Again, we're trying to open this. Drop your head in. Inhale. Lift your low belly back. Keep pushing forward. So you're actually rounding the lumbar spine first. Then pull back on shins with elbows. Keeping low belly engaged. Let ribs open. And drag the spine longer and forward. Good. Do it again. Feet push the mat forward. Low belly sucks back. Knees open. Drop head. Shoulders drop forward. Inhale. Exhale. Lift low belly. Let your ribs start to open. Lengthen core as you come forward. Softly pull back with elbows. And then if you're real flexible, you can bring elbows under shins. Pick your shins up a little with elbows and you'll be able to drag further forward. Because you're making more slack in front of the hips. Yeah, that's pretty good. In front of your hips are pretty open. Good. And then roll it up. Second side. Let's bring the right leg back into the stretch you were already in. Bring your left foot in. You're on a block, maybe you're on a block again, because that's that big knee stretch they always feel a lot. Yeah, so elevating the hips just lessens that degree of flexion and makes the stretch less in the knee. Okay, good, bring this foot in. Okay, bring the body inside that leg. Elbow pins the knee back, other hand out to the side. So you're pinning that out, that knee back, that shin back, as if to send yourself forward, which you are actually going to do. And then tip forward into the foot. Keep using that shoulder pinning back to lift the hip up and back. Also push your left foot to lift hip up and back. Then bring your ribs further forward. You can put forehead on the ground if you want to. I find more space by pulling shoulders back, ribs forward and low, flattening the back. Breathe. Let's say roll to the inner arch of your left foot. Feel the foot help pin the back, the foot back. Foot help pin the hip back too. Okay, if you feel good in this pose, you can lift your left foot up, coming toward that arm balance. Shoulders rolling back actually pins the hip back, then drop ribs into the shoulder girdle more. Breathe. You can shift over toward the left more, putting more weight in the left arm if you feel good with this, opening right hip too. And then bring the foot back down, and sink back to the back. Good. Get rid of the block. Turn the foot out. Your foot should be a little bit diagonally forward. Bring your right leg open more. Okay. Then bring your elbow in front of the knee. Other elbow kind of in front of the toes. Try to keep this foot active. If you keep the ankle pointed, but the toes open, like you're grabbing the mat with the pinky, keep the heel forward, you'll actually feel it in the front of the hip. So floint, meaning point foot, but spread and open toes. Like flex in the toes, but a point foot gives you that floint. Okay? From there, your left elbow stays in front of the knee. Bring your ribs forward a little bit, like you're leaning past the knee. Then push down into elbows to pick your ribs up, but don't flex core. Core stay released. Inhale, long, soft, and full. Exhale, just lift your low belly. And then lengthen your ribs forward and down. Good. Do it again. Push your elbows, ribs come up and open. Inhale. Exhale, only lift low belly, and then just lean forward and back down again, let your hip release. Okay, we're going to add some movement to the right. Pick it up a little bit, keep the core loose. Inhale, let your hips and ribs fill, everything, your ribs fill. As you exhale, just lift low belly, bring it over to the right with your ribs. Your left shoulder can drop forward more. Good, can we stretch down a bit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bring it back. Pressing down through elbows to support ribs. They come up in the shoulder girdle a little. You're not trying to dome as hard as you can, because then you're already flexing in front of the hip. Let that go. Just a little lift. And then inhale, really inflating thoracic cavity. Exhale, just lifting low belly a little, and then bring it across. Left shoulder coming across to the right, ribs coming across to the right, low belly coming right. Good. Okay, see if you can reach your left arm to the top right corner of the mat, opening out of that left side more. Try to keep leaning right as much as you can. Yeah, well, that's start to opening up the ribs, sliding the shoulder blade up the side. Breathe. If you want to widen your right elbow, you can. Drop down to the head. You've got room for that. Use the foot. Remember that point. Pinky toe grabs the mat to keep heel forward. And bring it back. Good. Now lean as far left as you need to, really opening and giving the right side space. Stay in the left elbow. Then you work the leg back, the right leg back. And then you can kind of reposition until you can get the right leg as far to the left side of your mat as you can. Okay? Then start trying to roll the knee under, hip forward, and come back to the right. Now, if you need to be higher, don't elevate the hip. Put your elbows on two blocks to get higher up. Okay? You can elevate the hip, but I'd rather do it on a bolster or something if you're going to elevate the hip. Okay? So you're going to roll the right hip forward, come up if you need to, and hop the left knee back more. The more you can work left knee back and right knee back, the better. Keep the toes open into the mat. Good. How you doing? Push down through elbows, pick the ribs up. Drop your head into the mat. Inhale. Exhale, try to feel groin muscles hug in a little bit. Right hip rolling toward the mat, then lengthen forward and down. Don't worry about right and left yet. Good. Do it again. Push down through elbows to support ribs. Let your ribs release though. Hip release. Inhale. Exhale, lift low belly. Bring it over to the right, and then forward and down. Yeah. You good? Do it again.
Bring it over to the left, that'll lessen the stretch. Push down through elbows to lift rib. You can also put left knee right in front of left elbow to help anchor it there. Inhale. Exhale, lifting low belly. Take it over to the right, and then forward and down. Good job. One more like that, bring it back left. Push down through elbows to pick ribs up. Don't go your highest, just a little. Inhale. Exhale, lift your low belly. Use low belly, dragging it out of the front of the hip to the right. Maybe you can reach the left arm across again to the right corner of the mat. Activate the left toes, left foot. Okay, let's bring the hands into one straight line, or forearms into one straight line, and put your foot onto the back of the hands. You can be on your blocks with elbows to do this. Yeah. Wherever you are, bring your elbows back by an inch, literally, and hands back by an inch, and push the mat forward to suck the ribs further back behind the shin. Inhale. Exhale, low belly drawing back, hip rolling back. Keep the hip anchored back, pull back with elbows, try to bring ribs forward without the hip coming to. Yeah. Do that again. Push forward on the mat with the hands, pick ribs up, inhale. Exhale, draw low belly, and then bring it forward again and down. One more time, push into elbows to bring ribs back, inhale. Lift low belly, bring it forward and down. Foot active. Good, bring your elbows back to the mat. Right hand, left hand in front of left knee. Right elbow stays on the mat. You can put it in front of the toes so toes can open around it. Push into your left hand, try to twist left. Good. Inhale. As you exhale, bring your ribs forward and down, right hip forward to the mat. Do it again. Inhale, pick it up. Exhale, bring it forward and down. Feel that coming out of the hip a little more. One more, pick it up. Inhale. Exhale, bring it forward and down. If you've got the rib, you can reach back for the foot. Good morning. Side's tighter, that's not happening, right? Yeah. Good. Respect the difference between your sides. Alright. Let's go ahead and come out of it by rolling all the way to the left hip and bring the right foot down. Felt that spot though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly that spot, hopefully. Good, bring the soles of the feet together. Toes open. Same stretch we were in before. A little bit of distance, more than normal on your body now. So bring your elbows in front of shins. Lift shins a little, toes open, heels into each other. Pulling back soft with elbows and up. Shoulders roll forward, getting long in your back. Breathe, inhale. Exhale, long and even. If you're pretty open here, you can measure it so you can put your chin in your feet. And then you can drop chin down, pull spine longer. Wherever you're at, one more breath. And then reach your arms out in front. As far as they'll go, walking it forward, spreading shoulder blades off the back. Drop your head. Breathe. And then bring it all the way back up. Okay. Okay. Alright, I'm going to do one more short sequence on your blocks. Let me steal one of my blocks back. Let's see on your blocks. Sit pretty far forward to the front edge of your blocks. Feet forward. The more flexible you know you are, the more you're going to bring your feet forward. The less flexible maybe, the more you bring them back. So the further you tip your blocks forward, the more space you need for your hips to drop. Bring elbows inside the knees, hands into prayer. Bring your prayer hands down. Okay? Pull back on the mat with your feet. Tip your blocks forward. Low belly lifts. Knees hug in on your elbows. Your hands should be down in prayer, so you're one straight line from forearm to forearm. So when knees press in, there's nowhere to go. Hands hit each other, that's that. Okay? Keep knees hugging in. Suck your low belly back. Okay? Keep low belly lifted, and then lengthen ribs forward, roll shoulders back. Do it again. Knees hugging, suck low belly back. Shoulder blades spread apart. And then bring the ribs forward, shoulders back. Last one, knees suck in, low belly back. This time, slide your prayer down, bring your hands to the mat. Okay, elbows push straight back into your groin. Try to stay tipped forward. Good. Then elbows push out to the sides a little bit, opening the groin. Shoulders lift up and forward. The more leverage you push back with elbows, the more leverage you have to bring shoulders forward. Drop your head down. Breathe. Feel that stretch in your low back? hips. Good. So again, by sliding the shoulder blades forward and up, since lat attaches in the lumbar spine and comes up and attaches to the upper arm, you're making space there. And then pushing the hands, bring your blocks back, bring it down. Good. Okay. Maybe one twist here. Move your hips over to the right. Your right sitting bone's kind of hanging off the right side of the block. Bring your right leg back. Bring your left foot across the right. Sole of the foot is flat. Bring this knee across. If you're really tight in the back and the pelvic goes forward, there's no room for this knee to come across. Knee comes across, belly sucking back, shoulder blade off the back, elbow to knee. So I really get those connected and come over this foot a little bit. Then hands in prayer. Your back hand pushes into the front hand, and your prayer should be diagonal, so that when you push with back hand, you can lift these ribs up. Yes, so let's switch it up. Good, this is the kind of twist I meant where you're folding the knee across. Breathe. It's good to be elevated on the blocks because you can be over it a little bit more than when you're on the mat. Your right knee should push forward and right against that left foot. You can lean to the right a little bit to open your left wrist more. Left elbow can come forward. Good. Okay, now keep really working that right arm across and then bring your the left knee under the right armpit. Bring your right hand to the mat, left hand comes to the mat. So you're going to lean forward. Yep. And then shift your weight forward so you can keep that right elbow pinning your knee back. Arm balance back. Bring the leg out to the side of the twist. Good. So eventually that arm balance follows. Stretch for it. And sit back. So you just feel that deeper twist as your elbow pins the leg back and the ribs try to pass the leg. You're just getting bigger in that twist, right? Okay, let's switch. Bring your left leg back. Right leg comes forward, move over to the left side of the blocks. Okay, keep your left sitting bone totally free, it's hanging off the block. Left knee is right in line with the hip. Soft in your core, bring your right leg across. Right hand can help push that knee across and then elbow to knee. Try to get that up in there so you're coming forward, so you're kind of over the foot a little bit. Then hands in prayer. Your prayer should make a diagonal line because you're trying to push down, which brings the leg across, but you're also trying to use this pressure to lift these ribs diagonally up. So you don't want it straight really, you want leverage here. Okay, the shoulder may even come up a little bit. Again, that's going to make space here, that's fine. Breathe. If you lean a little bit left, staying in the foot, pushing into the hand, you can open the ribs a little more. You may play with opening elbow a little, lifting shoulder, or rolling shoulder back. Either one, depends on where you're at in your practice. If you roll shoulder back, if you're really open, you'll start deepening. You could even go for a bind here to pull back. Okay. If you get the bind, you can sit back, lift it up. All right, let's come out of that part. Work the knee way back behind the armpit. So you're really trying to work your ribs past that thigh, okay? And whatever else you got going on. Hands come to the mat. So bend your left elbow back to pin that right knee across the body. Feel that? Then try to lengthen low belly forward like you're going to lean past that hip. Then come forward and maybe you can straighten the leg out. Okay, keeping the elbows bent. Good. Okay, if you've got it there, you can tip into it. That comes later. And sit back down. Good job. How are we doing?
Much later.
You feel the twist now?
Yes.
Feel the point? Good. All right, let's bring the feet forward. You can make this adjustment however you want. I like to just sit off the front of the blocks like we did when we tipped forward. So your tailbone is all the way to the front edge, and then walk the hands back. Maybe you want to drop back first, and then lift hips and bring it under, whatever works for you. You want to be kind of on your sacrum on the back of the pelvis now. Okay. Fingers facing forward, wide as your mat, and try to make it even. Okay. Roll your shoulders forward. A little pressure forward in the feet. Should make it easy for you to tip the blocks back. Good. Feel that length in your low back. Good. Low belly drawing. Over the hand. Bring the blocks back down. Roll your shoulders back. Low belly still drawing. Then roll forward again. Hands kind of pull forward. Feet push to help you tip back. Knees hugging. And then put your blocks down. So we're going to move all the way into a different stretch. Push into the hands. Roll your shoulders back. Shoulder blades come under ribs to pick the ribs up. And then maybe you can keeping low belly in. Maybe you can tip blocks forward. Big stretch. Keep low belly in. Don't let that happen. Good. Bring it back. Shoulders roll forward, hips drop back, chin in, bend your elbows back, lengthen low back. Good. Move your hips over to the right on your block. So your right sitting bones off the block. And then knees drop left, especially right knee, and bring ribs right. So push through that left arm, right elbow reaching back. So you're opening that right side. Think of hip to heel too, right hip to right heel. And if you want to add more, you can cross ankle over and pull across. Feel that stretch in the side? Good. The more you drop the shoulder back, the more you open those ribs, the bigger the stretch gets. Okay, uncross the leg, bring it back, hips go left, left glute kind of off your block, feet can go a little left too. Then drop your knees to the right, ribs to the left. Okay, lift the left toes. You can cross ankle over knee to pull it a little further across. At the same time, keep that left shoulder coming back, right hand pushes you into the stretch. Think right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Fold up the hip, think hip to heel on the left side. And uncross it, bring it back. Hips in the middle, push through the hands. One more, turn hands backwards. Walk maybe a little further back. Roll shoulders forward, bend elbows back, same stretch. Low belly in. Think of folding yourself in half, shoulders to hips, hips to shoulders. Then bring it down. Roll shoulders back, open chest, outer spiral arms, maybe you can bend them toward each other. And then straighten, roll forward. Hips back, good block here. Very good, how we done? Good. Alright, get rid of your blocks. Have a seat. Bring the bolster behind you. And then put it right up against sacrum. Lift up, put your sacrum right on the front edge of it, and then lay all the way back over it. Okay, so bolster's pretty high up the back. Feels good, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Alright, good work. Alright, so you're going to bring one leg in at a time, so don't stretch out your lower back. Bring your arms inside the legs. You can either take happy baby hands, where hands go to the top of the feet and hold outer foot, or a little deeper, hands come under, hold heels. If you cup the heels with hands, you pull down to bring knees towards your neck. They'll soft. Chin is down, neck is long, soften upper body. Okay. Let's let go of the right leg, drop right leg forward, right arm back. Keep your left heel pushing into the hand a little, reach the hip forward. So you're almost going to push into the back of the head a little bit to reach. Then roll your left shoulder forward, touch. Ribs go right as you reach more. So this is your handle. Left hand and left heel connect with a lot of pressure. That gives you leverage to reach the right side longer. Bring your right leg over to the left. Bring it back, circle it out to the right. Find your split there, and then bring it all the way in. Hand under heel. Left leg drops forward, left arm overhead. Keep your right heel pushing up into the hand. Right shoulder rolls forward, and your elbow pushes that leg away a little bit. And as your shoulder blade comes down on the right side, it helps push ribs across left. That opens the muscles between ribs and hip more, which is what you're already trying to do. So use this left side or this right side to open your left side more. Breathe, inhale. As you exhale, bring your left arm straight up to the ceiling. Try to spread the shoulder blade off the back. Reach up, ribs dropping, and then drop the ribs back, or the shoulder back down. Inhale. Exhale, shoulder blade up, ribs down. Reach the hip, and then drop it down. Let your arm drop back again. Open the ribs, and bring it back in. One more left side. Hold on to your left heel. Right leg drops forward, right arm overhead. Inhale. Exhale, bring your right arm up. Spread that shoulder blade off the back. Reach up, ribs down, hip reaching. And then drop the shoulder back down. Inhale. Exhale, reach it up. Good. And then drop the arm back. Open the right ribs. Good. Bring the leg back up. Last one, left side. Bring that left leg forward, left arm overhead. Left elbow, or right elbow pushing in the right knee, right shoulder forward, ribs across. Inhale. Bring that left leg across to the right a bit. Keep ribs going left and you won't fall off your bolster. Bring it back out to the left. Open the leg into your split. Good. You bring the hand there to help open split the arm. And bring it back. Good. Bring the soles of the feet together, hands on ankles. Just fingers really. And then drop your legs forward up in Baddha Konasana, but keep your hands on your ankles and let it pull your shoulders down your ribs. Roll shoulders back, ribs open, chin down, neck long. Inhale. Exhale, roll shoulders forward, ribs dropping into the bolster. Do it again. Inhale, roll shoulders back, ribs open. You should not feel your low back. Exhale, drop ribs in, shoulders forward. Good. Bring the legs in. And bring the knees in. Bring one foot at a time to the mat. Let's take the feet wide, heel toes apart. We'll drop your right knee forward and down. You want a 90-degree angle from the upper to the lower leg. So you're one line from the shoulder to the knee, from the foot out to the side. You can put a little pressure in your elbows to keep your low back long, and then cross your left ankle over the right knee. If that's too big a stretch, you can just let the left knee release down to the ground. If you want the weight bearing, you put the foot around the patella, left foot around the patella, drop the knee down. Okay, it'll make you feel a little better, maybe deepen it. Bringing your ribs over to the right on your bolster. Keep left elbow pushing ribs right, and bring your right arm up. Breathe. As you exhale, try to softly draw your ribs, keeping the core a little, let the hip release more. Good. Uncross the leg, take the weight off of it, roll it up. And then let's go to the other side. You'll tie the left foot way off the mat to the left. Drop the knee in and down. So you should end up with a 90-degree angle, one straight line all the way up from the chest to the left knee. Foot out to the side. Lower leg parallel with top and bottom of the mat. Heel toe right foot in. You can test it by just dropping the right knee down. Maybe that's enough, okay? If you want to add the weight, cross ankle over knee, hook the foot around, but then let the right leg release. Elbows can push to support low back, keeping the tailbone pushed along. Okay, and then you're going to calculate how much you're going to push. The more you push, the more the pelvic bowl drops back, tailbone long, but you're killing the stretch a little. So you're going to keep a little tension there to help your low belly draw. Once you can find low belly, and you can release the quad away from the sides, and release the front of the hip away, then you let some of the push go. Okay? Inhale. Exhale, a little bit of low belly, a little bit of core. Shoulder heads can even roll forward to help with that, and then let the knee drop a little bit. Okay, bring your ribs over to the left more. Right elbow, keep pushing ribs left, and left arm up to deepen it. Breathe. Good. Bring the elbow back, uncross the leg, taking the weight off, roll the leg back up. You should feel that front and back of the hip like a little oval. Rotate it. Alright, push the bolster down to the tip of the tailbone. Bring one leg in at a time. Just release your low back in that little space that's hanging in. You can kind of roll the knees back and forth or wherever feels good, but keep it separate. Keep the release. Okay. Go ahead and push the bolster away. Put your legs over the bolster, calves. Let your feet just hang off the front of it. Palms can face up. Inhale here. As you exhale, let your eyes roll back into the back of the head in the middle of the forehead and third eye lens. Soften the facial muscles. Feel it spreading across the brow, across the bridge of the nose. Feel it spreading and releasing the jaw and across the base of the tongue right next to the head. Just enjoy the space you made in your body and feel it like you're breathing. Deepening your breath again. Try to feel a soft inflation and deflation of the thoracic cavity. Ribs opening on your inhale. And then closing, chest falling on your exhale. toes. Bring your hands up and back. Flex feet, spread toes. Think of reaching heels past toes. We keep these a little softened, but inhale, low belly still anchors a little as ribs open. And then exhale, close the fingers, point toes and roll in. Even sickling ankle work. Inhale, open it back up. Exhale, close fists, close toes, roll in. And then inhale, open it up. And then as you exhale, just release. And make your way to sitting. You can either roll to one side, stacking hips, shoulders, ribs. Bring the left leg forward, or the top leg forward, top hand into the mat. Come up. Or if you want to reintegrate the body, you can roll up by bringing the arms forward. Chin to the chest. Core pulling in. And roll all the way up. Open your legs and just round over your bolster. Take a couple breaths there. Turn off this little bell here. And then make your way back to sitting upright again and roll it up. Good. You can sit on your bolster if you want for our own and do a little chant. Sitting on it makes it a little bit easier to keep your core nice and long. This degree of flexion in the hips is less. Okay, if you don't have any issue with your hips being open, you can sit in a more grounded position, crossing into lotus a little bit deeper. Okay. Same spiel every time. You're going to inhale, let the ribs open up. Soft passive inhale, okay? Inhalation is air, or the atmospheric pressure pushing air into the lungs. Most muscles inside the rib cage are rib cage depressors, rib cage depressors, which means they close the ribs, pulling in to push air back out against that atmospheric pressure. So you want to stay soft when you inhale, letting the ribs open. Let the air flow in. To take a deeper breath, you just inhale a little longer. You can't speed that pressure. All right? So you're going to inhale soft but long. Hold the air at the top. Start with an ah sound in the jaw, releasing facial muscles. Come to ooh, then have enough breath for to vibrate through core. When you're empty, all those rib cage depressors will have closed your ribs. Try to stay empty, retain empty, let ribs open again, flaring open, lift the pelvic floor. And stay empty for another count or two, then you'll kind of gasp for air. Here we go. Come together in prayer into the middle of the forehead where the third eye lives. Bow your head in, release middle back back. Rounding your spine one last time, seal in your practice. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
There you go.
Good.
That's it.
Might need a wheelchair.
There's no walking out of here. That's not how it goes.